We're here with Defense Unicorns at the 2024 Airspace and Cyber Conference hosted by the Air and Space Forces Association. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I've been at Defense Unicorns about a year and a half now over on the growth team. Prior to coming to this company, I did about 10 years active duty Air Force, so all acquisitions, various roles, operational contracting, major weapon system contracting, and then shifted more into that PM role and really focused on how to scale DevSecOps across the DoD. And now I'm here.
Excellent. So talk to us about, what Defense Unicorns does. I hear it is a real company. That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
What's exciting for you guys at the show?
No, I appreciate that question. And I think to best answer that, we really need to start with, what is our why? Why are we here? I mentioned a lot of us have served in various capacities at Defense Unicorns. And it's because we're very, focused on this DoD national security mission set, right? We want to be a part of a mission that is bigger than ourselves, bigger than our company, and ultimately a mission that's going to ensure our freedom and independence going into the future. And when we talk about the future is very much software, right? Every major weapon system is software centric. And at Defense Unicorns, we've had this experience, having served in various roles of how painful software can be in the DoD. Whether it's, leveraging old or outdated software, whether it's, the pain points around actually trying to find how to buy software, or even how to get software where your mission lives. It is very painful. We know it's very challenging, but we know there's a better way. And our goal at Defense Unicorns is really, how do we bring that better way back to the DoD to ultimately scale the number of missions that continuous software delivery is ultimately just the standard.
Sure. So how do you fix those problems that are kind of inherent in DoD software? If you are the customer, what good things can you give them to make it better?
Yeah, so we ultimately do one thing, right? And that one thing is called Unicorn Delivery Service. It's a real thing, I promise. The best way to kind of describe it, and a great analogy, is FedEx, right? What does FedEx do? It takes your items, packages everything up you need in those items, and gets them where you need them delivered. We do that for software, right? So we have Unicorn Delivery Service, UDS. We create everything you need in this integrated system. So you tell us what mission capability you need. We integrate it into our open source secure runtime, and we deploy it into your mission environments. So completely infrastructure agnostic, we go where the mission goes, but we create this integrated system to enable continuous software delivery where the mission lives. And because we kind of normed around that standard baseline, you get those efficiencies from cost, from speed, and ultimately from unauthorization or ATO, which is a serious pain point on the government and industry side as well.
Right. Talk to me about the programs that you're working with, the teams that you're working with. Are those the software coding factories? Are those individual units? Who are you working with?
We're super fortunate to serve across multiple services, but specific to Air Force, we support different program offices. Anything that is really focused on software, so either legacy systems or looking at modernization systems, or the software ecosystems of the world. We support anyone that is really looking to enable continuous software delivery.
Right. Okay. Where do you see the company going? Where do you see, you're on the growth team, where do you see growth going in the next,
growing,
right? Where do you see the growth going in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so going back to my previous statement, we really want to scale the missions that we support. So when we talk about growth, where we fit in is how do we find the right partners to enable this growth, whether they're systems integrators or just industry partners that have a mission capability. How do we continue to scale the impact that software can have within DoD? So that's where hopefully we go and we become just the default platform of choice for the DoD.
Sure. As a small business, as a startup, DoD has done a lot to try and work more closely with companies like you. Where would you like to see that relationship go? How do you improve that? How do you make software acquisition better?
No, that's a great question. With my background, prior to coming to the company, I focused very much on the acquisition side, right? So how do we identify new and emerging technologies? A problem that's very personal to me is that's great, we can find these new companies, but we actually haven't fixed that tech transition, right? So after you find these new technologies, how do you actually get them into mission environments, right? How do you do that transition? And that's where I hope the DoD and Air Force focuses, where there are a lot of new emerging capabilities. How do we then take those capabilities and ensure that they can get into mission environments? There are a lot of companies and industry partners that would do anything to work with the DoD, but we can't figure out how to get them in.
Sure. Your booth is very popular this morning. You guys, you had socks. They seem to be gone. why do you think people are kind of flocking to you this morning?
I think, honestly, when we talk about the Air Force and the missions that the Air Force serves, no one has to remind anyone of how serious the mission is, right?
Sure.
But we want to do it in a unique way. And so I think when you see, Doug, our unicorn, it brings light to the situation where, like, just because the mission is so serious doesn't mean we can't have fun serving the mission. So hopefully that's what brings people just the uniqueness of our brand.
Sure. Thank you very much.